The Georgia Bulldogs are going to scrimmage on Saturday. Football, real football for them, is just a couple of weeks away. September 2nd is coming soon when they kick off against UT Martin in Sanford Stadium. And this is going to be an offense that I think is going to be really good again. It was one of the best offenses in college football last year. 500-ish, a little over 500 yards per game, right? Around 40 points per game. That's a really good college football offense. If you're doing that, you're almost definitely one of the 10 best offenses in college football. And put Dominic Lovett in the picture. Obviously, things are going to be a little bit different as far as personnel goes, but throw in Dominic Lovett into the picture for the Georgia Bulldogs, and I think their offense only gets more dynamic. I think that he has potential to be the best receiver. He might be the best receiver Georgia has, and a lot of people think that Ladd McConkey is one of the better receivers in the country. I mean, he is. Ladd McConkey is probably going to get drafted to the NFL. Dominic Lovett, I think, is probably going to get drafted to the NFL, especially if he gets used, if he has a lot of usage at Georgia, right? Getting used, that's an awful way to put it. If he has a lot of usage in Georgia's offense, I think Dominic Lovett will also be an NFL draft pick. I think he'll probably be an NFL draft pick regardless, and I think he's going to add some elements to this Georgia offense and help out probably Carson Beck, right? That's who the starting quarterback is going to be if things haven't changed behind the scenes. It'll be Carson Beck. We think that's what it's going to be at least. Maybe we'll learn some more over the next week or so, and obviously we'll be on top of that as best as we can. But Lovett, I think, is going to help out Carson Beck in this Georgia offense a lot. Ryan Curley from Dog Post here. Hey, real quick, I just want to let you guys know that the newsletter is free. I've told you guys a lot. The newsletter is free. Sign up. The link is down below. Every single day in your inbox, you're going to have the freshest stories, the insider stories in your mail every day. Keep up with the Georgia Bulldogs as best you can. We can't say everything here. Can't do everything here, and it's free. I don't know what else. What's so hard about that, right? It's free. Link is down below for our newsletter, and make sure you go on the site dogpost.com. So Dominic Lovett was one of the best receivers in the SEC last year. He was a top 10 receiver in terms of yards. Only had the 3 touchdowns. This is a guy that's probably a little bit under 6 feet, right? Kind of thin. I gotta say he looks really small. Just like at Georgia's practices and at UGA, I thought he looked pretty thin, tiny. Ladd McConkey, as small as Ladd McConkey is, I mean, Ladd McConkey's got some muscle on him. I think Ladd McConkey's probably the thicker of the two guys, and I think they're going to be used in similar ways, which is why I'm using their names a little bit hand in hand. I think that Ladd McConkey's a guy that, as I hear sirens, used to line up in the slot a little bit more, lines up outside now, but they mix and move him over, right? He's not just outside. And I think that Dominic Lovett is going to get similar treatment as Ladd McConkey in terms of we can put you wherever. And that's the same thing, same deal with Bowers, right? And it's actually a theme on this Georgia team. And a theme just in general is versatility. And that was discussed a lot this past week, especially with defense. And really more so just defense it was talked about. But I want to talk about it in terms of offense and the versatility Georgia has on offense and Georgia implements on their offense. On their defense, what was talked about a lot this week was how, Jalen Walker, he doesn't just line up inside. He lines up as an outside linebacker, as a pass rusher on third down, as someone who can do more than one thing. Well, they train a lot of these players to do more than one thing. These safeties, they practice at other spots. These corners, they practice at other spots. The linemen, they all practice at other spots. It's the same thing on offense. Ladd McConkey is good on the outside, is good on the slot. He's versatile, and he's going to be on the next level. He's going to be asked to do everything. Same thing with Dominic Lovett. Same thing with Brock Bowers. Those are probably your 3 most dynamic receivers. It's hard to say that when you have a guy with Arian Smith's speed, but as far as just polished pass catchers, I'd take those 3 guys, right? I think that Arian Smith has an opportunity to show out this year, and we're going to see if he's going to do that and be a little bit more than just a deep threat. He's got some parts of his game he wants to show, but for Lovett, I think he's a guy that is going to get the ball underneath routes a lot. We saw that a little bit at G-Day. I think he's a guy they're going to want the ball in his hands. Brock Bowers will get his attention, right? But Brock Bowers is also going to get his. When Brock Bowers is not getting his, who's that going to be for Georgia? Well, you call it a problem, it's not a problem. They've got so many different types of weapons. And they all need the ball in different ways, right? Arian Smith is a deep threat. Marcus Jones-Jackson, I don't want to categorize these guys because it's not my job to sit here and categorize them, right? But Marcus Jones-Jackson has been a hands guy. He's been a possession receiver for Georgia, and he's made some good catches in the end zone as well. All right, he's not just a guy that's getting the ball at the 50-yard line. Bowers is your do-it-all. McConkey has become a do-it-all. And I think Dominic Lovett is also going to fill into that role. You have shifty players like Mekhi Muse, who may see a little bit of time. You have younger players like Anthony Evans that may see a little bit of time, right? There are younger guys, C.J. Smith, guys like that. But Dominic Lovett's going to play early, often. He's going to play a lot because this is one of the best guys on this team. And he is, he's one of the best offensive players on this team immediately, right? And he's a guy that they're going to get the ball. So when it comes to personnel, and we're dealing with Carson Beck now instead of Stetson Bennett, right? Carson Beck's not going to run around as much. And by running around, I don't just mean taking off past the line of scrimmage. I mean running around and escaping the pocket. Carson Beck is a good quarterback. I just don't think he's going to do that as much. I don't think that we're going to see that out of Carson near the level of Stetson. You don't see it out of people as much as Stetson, right? Stetson is a scrambler. He's a guy that tries to make things happen. Carson's not going to do that as much. And that's not a non-Carson game. It's a different type of game. And I think that you're going to see quick-hitting stuff. I really do. I think you're going to see them want to get the ball to their playmakers quick and the right decision. It's something that you saw early on last year. You very well saw it against Oregon. You very well saw it against South Carolina. You very well saw it against Vanderbilt, where they just want to move the ball fast. And they can do that with Carson Beck, and we saw that a little bit at G-Day. And Dominic Lovett is going to be one of those guys they want the ball quick to. Get the ball in this guy's hands, because when he has the ball, he makes things happen with his legs. And so Dominic Lovett is going to be that, because Dominic Lovett can be a deep threat. He could be a slot guy. He is a versatile receiver. Him and Ladd McConkey are versatile receivers for Georgia. They get the benefit of being able to line up people wherever they want. That gives their offense more to do. They can do more with their offense when different players can play different positions, right? These running backs are probably not going to catch the ball as much as a collective group. Kenny McIntosh, that was a focus with him because that was a skill set and a strength. It's not as much a strength with him being gone, unless someone steps up into that role and does it as well as him. I'd have a hard time seeing that. I think that people will step up into that role. I don't know if they'll do it as well as Kenny did. And in a way, I think people like Dominic Lovett are going to take the heat off of that with some quick hitting passes, some quick slants, some quick drags, some quick outs. I think that this is a prediction a little bit, and right, that's kind of the point of this. I think that's a way that they're going to use Dominic Lovett, and I think it's going to, and ironically, he's wearing number 6, right, that Kenny McIntosh will wear at Georgia. I think he's going to also, in a way, take a slight part of what Kenny McIntosh's role is. It's just a little prediction. I saw a little bit at G-Day. I thought that they might implement that. But it'll be interesting to see the creative ways that Mike Bobo and company use Dominic Lovett. Newsletter down below. Thanks for watching, guys.